You made an interesting comment that I liked after the 2020 election, something along the lines of perhaps law-abiding states should bond together, form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. There's a movement here in Texas called Texit, and I think you might have taken part in some of their panels or some discussions that they put on with Huffines and yourself. What are your thoughts on getting Texit on the ballot just to be voted on and kind of this whole movement of this Texit?
Well, that quote that you just read, that was a statement that I made as chairman of the Republican Party of Texas when the Supreme Court decided that it would not hear the case that Texas has brought before them, along with 16 to 17 other states, that was about the unconstitutional actions that we saw during the 2020 election in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona. And the Supreme Court is supposed to, be the court of original jurisdiction. It's the only place that a state can go and petition the government for a redress of a grievance. And for them to say that they were not going to hear that case, we need to make sure that we are protecting ourselves. And again, the Constitution says we the people in order to form a more perfect union. And so that's where I brought that quote from, is that we have to get back to understand we're a constitutional republic and the rule of law has to be preeminent. And I supported, I think it was HB 1359, Kyle Biederman's
Mhm.
piece of legislation that said that, give the people the opportunity to vote on this issue. Because that's what should happen in a constitutional republic. People get the opportunity to vote on the issue. As far as Texas seceding from the Union, I've told folks that I would rather see Texas lead in America than secede from America. And I think that that's the moment and the opportunity that we have. If we follow the Constitution, you understand the states are preeminent over the federal government. The Constitution is a very restrictive document on the powers of the state. I mean, powers of the federal government. And the 10th Amendment says all of those powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states and to the people. So we have to reassert the 10th Amendment. We have to reassert that understanding of constitutional nullification. So we're just not bowing down to, so let it be written, so let it be done, edicts and orders coming from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, one of the things I believe someone like you, being the governor, could exemplify is kind of this throwback to federalism and nullification, and they used to call it a checkerboard of democracy. A lot of young people don't realize that, but it's the United States of America, not the United States
Ooh.
of America. Correct. So I could see someone like you being in charge of Texas, willing to nullify a lot of these edicts and mandates coming from, even if it was a Republican president, that if we don't want it, you can nullify these things. Do you see that?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I will tell you that, when I was the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas, and Governor Abbott, when he decided that he would unilaterally change election law in Texas, something that he cannot do constitutionally, that if you want to amend law, it has to go back through the legislative process. He changed early voting from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And I signed on to a lawsuit against him because for me, it's not about R&D, it's about the rule of law. It's about our Constitution. And so when you look at the things that the governor was doing this so-called emergency, which, if this was a pandemic, it was probably the least dangerous pandemic that we have ever seen. 99% recovery rate for this virus, but yet you had a governor that was shutting down businesses. You had a governor that was telling people that who or what. I mean, you're essential, you're not essential, your business is essential, your business is not essential. He doesn't have that enumerated power. So yeah, I mean, I will always stand up against anyone that does not abide by the rule of law.